Hi there. I thought I'd record a video to try and illustrate some of the interest this game of Austerlitz by GMT is giving. You're looking at a view here from the Austro-Russian side. So we have the Pratzen Heights up here, and have Telnitz over here, the lake there. We have the Zerlan Hill here. The Santon Redoubt, I think, is it's there. It's not featured in this game, and you can see that there's the Allied line here, the French line meeting them there. The actual fighting sort of broken out there. The Allied had just started attacking the village over there, and they're moving through a gap. They've taken control of the town there. This turn coming up, the French, I think it's the 4th Corps, start coming on from here, and some of them come on from down behind the piece of paper there. But otherwise, there's a very thin line here and some here of French. The Imperial Guard with the Napoleon started here. They're moving this way. Oudinot's division, very strong division, is moving up this way. And we have here the 4th. No, this is the 4th, isn't it? That's Larn. 5th Corps. 5th Corps here. Its two divisions its 1st division started engaging Bagration here. He has his cavalry support on the side here, and the 2nd division's here. But so I'll go a bit closer so you can see the situation. So the 1st division's actually formed up. It's got skirmishers on the flank to kind of try and fend off the cavalry there. They've moved up their artillery at the front. They took some losses, but no shaken or no morale hits, as it were. And they started engaging here. They got some fellows. The Bagration has not activated himself yet, so he's just sort of standing, waiting for the attack. He sent some fellows up into the Hobolnitz here, because obviously the 2nd division is coming through. The idea was that these would move in. As they become exhausted, these would then engage, and because they sort of started spread out, they came in at a bit of an angle. However, the Allies have sent over their cavalry reserve, so it's threatening the flank of these. These are moving up in column. So there's an independent, that's Kellerman. Kellerman's cavalry are whizzing up there. Otherwise we have Millaud and Tilnitz's cavalry there guarding the flank here, with Bagration's fairly significant cavalry force. He's got light, heavy and medium cavalry there. These are all light, so they could only soak up a blow. But then the 5th Corps have their own inherent cavalry division. They're coming up more slowly. They didn't activate quick enough. Some misunderstanding about their orders, I guess. So you can see these are still in strategic movement, which means they move quicker. These ones haven't managed to obtain that yet. And these moved up. This is the 1st Corps. So one division there, and another division straggled out there. And I really haven't done such a good job with the French attack, because the French are on the attack, because I sort of haven't echeloned. Each corps has 2 divisions, and I haven't echeloned them properly, because this is coming on the flank. It would be kind of better if it was more closer behind. So as this one exhausts and disintegrates, it would kind of veer off to one side, and that could come in. And again, here with this corps, both divisions, there's a cavalry division in the middle, and the 2 infantry divisions are strung out. They're not supporting each other, so then this whole corps is going to have to be the backstop for these 2. And as you can see, I've only just really figured that out, because they are facing the bulk of the Russians and Austrians here, who have the Imperial Guard, which is a hefty division moving up here. So the thought was originally that these would swing around, but I can see that This whole division is going to get exhausted quite quickly. The cavalry, no, they're just sitting waiting. They're holding the middle there. So if that swings around, then that's going to get exhausted quickly, and then all we've got is the Imperial Guard as the only reserves, and you know, that might deal with this lot, but then what about this lot? So going to have to hold those back. The flanking manoeuvres out the window now. Oudinot's division, the idea there was that he would just help to finish off any stragglers of Bagratians left after it had been decimated by the 5th Corps, that's the idea, and then move out there because they will undoubtedly be exhausted from their 1-2 punch against Bagratian's heavy column there. So does mean that the Austro-Russian Allied army is deploying quite quickly. So this is actually their reserve column. They got column here, the 4th column, I think that's 3rd. And then this one again, you've got a division there and a division there in that column. And really this one should have held in reserve because that one was going to get exhausted or wasted pretty quickly. And then it would move in on the exhausted French there. But instead I thought I'd move them around on a flanking manoeuvre and kind of engage those, hopefully giving these time to do something around here. But of course we got the French reinforcements coming in there, so that's all a bit moot. But although this is kind of like a weak response to essentially there was a race to try to get to Prats, and the French won, and so the division here was kind of left a bit flat-footed, and I sent these out quickly to try and support them, and instead I should have just held them back and let this take the brunt of the French. But despite all that, I feel quite relatively strong. Essentially, I'm not playing the historical scenario, so the Allies aren't bound by their historical aims and objectives, but they essentially have to sort of try and not get completely decimated. And that's the way that they can counter win in this situation. So I'm feeling fairly okay here because, as I described, the French attack is a bit strung out. It's not going to be the sort of, at least not at the moment. They need to get more coordinated before they can deliver a solid punch. And Bagration's a strong force, so he's going to tie up at least one corps, you know, in a couple of cavalry divisions over there. And then what with the cavalry reserve coming over here, that's, you know, going to tie up and sort of worry the French, like, oh, you know, is there a threat around there? So I was sort of fairly confident that they're holding on. You know, they're presenting a bit of trouble for the French. And yeah, I'm concerned that the French now, they have their cavalry reserve, the main part of it. These are also the reserve, but they independent. So Murat is there. So that, you know, will be available to sort of mop up 1 or 2 columns that have become starting to disintegrate down there. And I guess then hopefully just have to hold those, the Imperial Guard in reserve, to meet these fellows if and when they're committed. Over here they're just sort of on pause and waiting to see which way these Russians go. The advance guard there is moving, as deployed for the attack. We just got facing offs here. So that's just a quick video to show you the situation. I think I'll follow it up with the next one illustrating how the commands work, how you bring commands in, how they activate and so forth. These are all the ones that were activated last turn. These ones are all that have not been brought in. I'll explain that in the next video. Okay, so that's it for now. And we have a long stretch of the battlefield. Yeah, it's a nice game. I'm really enjoying it. Not learning how to use the formations, because these are the exhaustion markers. So you see this fellow here, he's on step 3. At level 3, so at level 4, they're going to have -1 on their morale checks, and at level 5, at level 6, they're going to have -1 on their melee dice roll modifiers. So essentially that means they've got 2 turns, that's 40 more minutes to move into melee before they're going to start taking detriment. So I think they're going to be meleeing the next turn. They haven't got so long for the artillery advanced artillery bombardment. But you can see they had to take that moving up. These had some, but if the cavalry weren't going up, I would take their activation marker out, put them in reserve, and they would start recovering that fatigue. As it is, they've got to meet that somehow, because I don't know. It depends if I can get this cavalry to get its activation marker in the cup, and that depends on a die roll. So we'll have to see. But yeah, so you can see he hasn't. Bagration's not exhausted. He has no exhaustion. They've been standing waiting. They can do limited activation, slowly moving up, just deploying themselves out slowly. Whereas these had to move up quickly. Well, they didn't have to, but I felt I wanted to. I didn't want to give Bagration too much time to get themselves sorted out. But now they have to go into the attack, and it won't last long before they get exhausted. The same here. He's on 4. He's only on 2, and he's only just going to start taking exhaustion. So you can see, again, these have to make an impression before they become too tired, essentially. And likewise here, them. So you can see how important it is that these fellows are formed up ready, hopefully without any exhaustion themselves, i.e. having to go into full activation to move at full movement, to take over from these fellows. That's it.